Hey guys, welcome to Survivor Week 9. Another day on the island.
You're pretty dang jazzed there, man. Yeah, all right. I like this. Josh is jazzed.
We got some admin notes to take care of first.
Yeah.
We have 2 new tribe members, Karen Salinas.
And Marcus Kaiser, as I like to say, Kaiser Sose.
Welcome to the Gedong tribe.
That's right.
All right, another day on the island.
Where are we supposed to drink to?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get my Gedong toast. Why not?
Thanks for subscribing. We've actually hit our 100 subscriber mark now.
Woo, big time now.
That's
this is where the big bucks start rolling.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is a pretty good episode. I thought the last 3, I'm liking this dynamic. I like they're doing something a little different these days as well, splitting the groups up and stuff. So
yeah, that was cool. I thought that was cool. I mean, I thought this was a great episode up until towards the end. Then it disappointed the hell out of me. You know, there was so much that could have been done here, and they just kind of got screwed up, I thought. But it was good. Yeah, it was a good episode. Though. I like watching.
When you get to the split, and we talk about that, I like that they said, you know, you go back to your place or whatever, and then the people who won go somewhere else. And he's like, and then we'll be back, like at our camp.
Ricardo.
Like,
he's like, we don't want to go to. We hate that place.
Yeah, you're not like, this isn't like, there's not another twist. Like you're not telling us something here.
I'll tell you what though, man.
One, right?
Speaking of Ricardo, I tell you, man, I'm liking that guy now, man. I really am. He's definitely getting he's getting a lot of brownie points with me now. He's not the same freaking just D-bag that he was, you know, in the very beginning. And he's playing a good game, man. I'm liking it now. He's playing a smart game.
And he's hard hearing, which did we learn this episode?
Hard hearing in the right. It was in this episode in his right ear. But you can't tell he's hard of hearing because he seems to talk just fine with everybody. So
I'm fully deaf in my right ear and I read lips. Wow. Most people don't realize I'm hard of hearing.
But anyways, the show kind of starts off from last time where Deshaun is kind of crapping on Shan a little bit and vice versa.
Yeah.
And we saw
Those
like
two
some
do not get
turmoil
along.
there.
Shan is like a bulldozer when it comes to her strategy. I don't like to let people tell me what to do in this game. I came here to play.
And they're like, I'm done with this person. They're talking about getting rid of him. What do you think about that drama there?
I thought it was cool until 2 seconds later it flips to them 2 talking to each other.
Yeah,
and then
next
they sorted
morning
it out,
they wake up and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Right.
And it's funny because Shan's like, that's fine. And then she still goes about like trying to
tell
them what she wants to do.
Don't trust
I was just trying to smooth things over with Shan, but yet again, she was just kind of telling me what to do. Like, she has very little tact.
And he's like, she's still trying to tell him what to do.
Shan cannot help herself.
No,
she
can't.
is just.
You know, I need to listen to all the opinions, but also getting the way I want the vote to go.
It is my way or the highway, and like I want you to be heard, but let's do it my way. Because
You're still going to do what I told you to.
I love where she's like fixated on someone, like let's say Evie, and then people throw out, but like, yeah, but what are we going to do about that?
What if we did Erica? I think it's better.
Everyone's obsessed with Vander because he's got the idol, but I want to get rid of Erica.
Let's not lose focus on who I want to vote for.
Yeah, and she's like focusing on stupid people. She's like wanting to focus on Erica and Heather, and she's like, I think they're big threats. I'm like, when the hell have either one of them been a threat this whole game? And they haven't, so I don't know what Shan's deal is, man. She's just stupid.
I don't know. And then Nasir talks to Heather because everyone's throwing Heather's name out there, and Nasir's like, I think you're going home.
Yeah.
Mama, I'm sorry.
What?
I really apologize that you have to go home today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
Mama.
and
He's
I
like, Mama.
think
He keeps calling her Mama, right?
Yeah, but I think he meant that in a very genuine way.
It came off a little awkward, and she's like, bye.
I think that he had kind of a bond with her at the beginning. You know, they were on the same tribe. They were the winning tribe, so they never really had to go after each other at that point. And they kind of like got
But Heather
along.
threw his name out there
She
and tried,
did.
even though she didn't vote for him, which is kind of weird.
Well, and then she lied to him about it. He's like questioning her, like, hey, you threw my name out there. She said, but no, I know.
When I asked you on your shoulder and knocked on your shoulder, I said, who are you?
Oh, yeah, at Travel, you said, vote Nasir.
You say that.
I didn't say vote for him. I said, who are you? You said, Nasir.
And he's like, there you go. And she's like,
But then she's trying to say, I didn't vote for you. I did not write your name down. And he's like, yeah, I don't believe you. And even though she didn't, like, because she's lied about all this other stuff, it's like, yeah,
she dug herself gray there.
Yeah.
And that's where Ricard goes in. He's hard hearing, and I think one ear he might be deaf.
His right ear, he's saying.
And then he's like,
maybe I can be the first hard of hearing winner.
Good God! Now we need a first survivor for this, that, and the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting a little.
Are you
crazy
missing the tip of your finger a little bit? You might be the first guy missing the tip of a finger on Survivor. You know, it's just stupid. You know, it's just like, come on.
And it doesn't seem like it's holding them back. Maybe we don't see that too much. I mean, you would think it has to hold you back a little bit because there's always like conversations.
Well,
and
you know, a lot of
people
with those like type of disabilities, people who have hard of hearing or visual issues, their other senses tend to heighten up. And the fact he said he could read lips, so technically it's an advantage.
He might
for him
have an advantage. I don't know.
He could probably see a conversation happening, and then you and I would be like, they're talking, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, I know exactly what's going on.
Maybe. So. I don't know. And then it's kind of interesting, too, because you have the whole group, and these 5 people kind of go off and have their own little powwow. And they're like, us 4 need to talk, is what they say.
Well,
and then Ricard kind of moseys over with them. But
they don't go far. They're just like right there. No. So like the person who's on the outs is like, oh, okay, you guys are all talking about
and that's what's weird. Right. They're like, we're all the power players, important people. We'll go over here and decide who's going home next. And everyone else is just like, well,
yeah.
Okay.
And the funny thing, all those other idiots are just sitting there like, oh, instead of getting together and saying, you know what, let's get these guys out.
Yeah, they should be like, hey guys, circle up real quick.
Yeah, we're going to vote these clowns out.
Every time these guys go around, let's all circle up and we'll figure which one of them are going home.
Yeah. Exactly. But they're not doing it. You know? And it's,
I mean, Xander's kind of picking that up.
He's trying,
I guess they think that, like, all the people on the bottom are so scattered that we could never work together.
The concentration of power doesn't work for me.
It's hard to rally everybody else.
Seems to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Like, I mean, he's getting a little bit further and a little bit further, but it's like sometimes he makes really good decisions, and then sometimes it's like, okay, well, maybe.
Well, his plan is
you
just.
could have played that a little bit.
He's in a hard spot.
He is.
Yeah, he is. And his plans, as much as he's trying, they just aren't working out because he can't get the full buy-in with anybody, with other people. So.
Right.
And his name isn't thrown out there too much. I mean, obviously, there's a reason this week, but like normally his name isn't thrown out there for a guy who's making a big impact.
Except Leona. I don't know what her deal is with Xander. I mean, she was like, even this week, she's like, during the competition we're about to talk about, she's looking at him, she's like, I hate his face. Look at his face.
Yeah, his face.
It's like, what is wrong? Like, what has she got against Xander, man? Like, he's like the nicest dude in the freaking group, So
Xander did punk Leanna, so that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, but even before he punked her, she was still like that towards him, So it's like, dude, I don't know what her deal is with Xander.
They don't get along.
I hate his... Look at his face. I hate his face. I don't...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's like a little bit of jealousy there.
I think it's exactly what it is. I think she's jealous
of his game. Because if you were to look at people, he'd probably be the best player right now as far as like his skills, the way he's managing himself, even though the numbers are against him all the time.
Yeah.
And he's still around.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, man. If it wasn't for him, the yellow team would have been in the exact same situation as the green team earlier on. I mean, they'd have lost. They'd have been losing their butts off if it wasn't for Xander on their team. So yeah. I mean, that dude is definitely. I agree. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, one of the top players in the game right now.
Yeah, so then we get to the immunity challenge, and I thought it was kind of early to have immunity challenge pretty early in the show. I was like, what happened to the food challenge? But there's a reason for that.
It's a combo challenge.
Yeah, and they're splitting them up into two groups and 2 tribals separately. And I like this because if you are part of a big group, you don't know which team you're necessarily going to be on.
Right.
Well, what I noticed this time, too, though, is it didn't show the split-up process. Didn't show how they did it.
Yeah, that was odd.
All of a sudden,
there was no rocks or anything.
Yeah. I was like, are they going to go back and show us
maybe
the rocks?
Maybe they just didn't want to, maybe they're like, people are rocked out here. They don't need to see.
Too many rocks.
Right.
Especially when you don't have the one gray rock there, It's like, now, where's the fun in
Erica's
that?
like, what team am I on?
Yeah. So they have, like, I guess it's blue and yellow, if I'm not mistaken.
It's always blue and yellow.
Yeah, so they got the blue and yellow, and you've got 5 on one and 5 on the other, and whoever, so it's one of those where you stay.
It's an endurance challenge.
I can't get my shoulder back, but like, anyhow, so their foot bar, like the back of their heel is like just a little bit on there, and then they have to like reach back and hold back, and then at some point in time, I don't know if it was Nasir, I can't remember who it was. Their hand kind of came around the front.
It was Nasir.
It was Nasir, and Jeff is like, you got to get your hand in the back.
I can't feel my right hand.
I'm kind of surprised he gave them like, hey, I'm warning you.
Nasir, get your hand on the back of that, not the cap.
I can't feel it.
Sorry, you got to move it or I'll call you out. On the back of it, your hand, right hand.
I can't feel it.
Yeah. But I guess that's kind of nice because instead of saying you're done.
Yeah. Right, because maybe you didn't realize, like, hey, because initially the rule was your hand can't, you have to have both hands on the bar behind you as well as your feet have to stay on. So, maybe it was a matter of he's just kind of like pulling it around and he's like, nah, you got to keep it in the back. Well, and Nasir's just like, I can't feel my hand. So.
Right. Yeah. Then even when he went and sat down after he dropped, he's like, okay, right hand.
Yeah. I don't remember them like doing a good job of showing you the teams on this either. Maybe I missed it for a second, but they just kind of like went into it. I'm like, what? Who's on what team?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't.
You guys know the teams offhand?
No.
Well, you probably know by tribal council, right?
Well, yeah. Okay. So you have, I don't know. So I guess Xander I think Xander was on the blue team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's on the good team. Xander finally got on the good team.
Yeah, so you had Xander,
Danny,
Deshaun. Leona, Deshaun, and Evie.
Yep, that's right. And everybody else is on the other team.
Shan, Heather,
Erica.
Yep, and Nasir.
Nasir
were on the yellow.
Yep.
And what I thought was interesting was when they, as they're dropping one by one, and now they're sitting on the bench, it's very clear. No one's being secretive. No one's cheering everyone's on.
Oh, yeah, it's all like, they're voting for him.
They're just cheering on one person, like, hold on. And then, like, you can tell when it came down to Xander, too. Like, it was Xander and Nasir at the end.
No, it was Xander and Deshaun at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
What I thought was interesting about this, because this is kind of similar a little bit to the last one, where they're balancing with their head a little bit, you would think. So you think that might carry over. But Evie and Heather, the two last on the previous one, are the two first out on this.
Well, I think holding your arms back like this is a thing. Like that.
It's different somehow, for sure.
I mean, you could see when they came off. They were all in pain when they came off. And for example, I have a shoulder issue, just had shoulder surgery. Like, I can't get my hand back there. And that's something I've had from just the career I've chosen. You've got these people, you don't know what walks of life they've come from, their career. You know, holding, like, if they have carpal tunnel, any nerve issues or whatever, that your arm falls asleep super easy. That's
Dylan Nasir's did. But one thing, and the thing is too, the plank they're standing on is only like covers their heel, right? So the whole rest of their foot is just hanging off the edge. So
last time it was the tippy toes, and this time it's
the heel.
Yeah, that's true. And that I feel like would be very uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm sure it is. I mean, it looked uncomfortable for everyone once they got off, because
they were all in
pain.
Shaking. Right. Everybody in the beginning was shaking except for Xander.
Right.
It took a while for Xander.
He was in pain too.
Yeah, but it took a while for him to start shaking.
Yeah.
At the beginning, like, everyone started.
Right. So, but with this competition, so you get two immunities, right? So you got two teams. The last person on each team gets immunity, but the last person overall, their whole team gets beef and chicken stew.
Right.
Yep. So so of course you got the yellow team. The yellow team is dropping pretty quick, right? I mean, those guys are dropping quick. And and then it gets down to Erica. She's the last one hanging on the yellow team, which I thought was cool. I was like, heck yeah, man, I was down for that.
But then they were all upset because that was the target.
Yeah, exactly.
She was one of the main targets. So they're like, oh,
which made me so happy. I was like, yes,
See, and I think
down.
that gives people motivation to power through this kind of stuff. If you know you're on the block, if you don't think you're on the block, this is a huge mental game a lot of times.
Right.
So
now the issue though that I would have been mad at Erica about if I was the yellow team is that right after she realized she was the last one.
She dropped.
Yeah, she's like, nah, I don't care about the food, and she just dropped. If I was her team, I'd be like, what? We gotta eat.
She apologized. She sat down and she was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hold on. And and how are you gonna get mad at her? You dropped.
Sorry, I couldn't go on. It's okay. You hung up there.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, well, you couldn't hold out longer than these guys.
Well, I think Xander
you couldn't
and Deshaun went on for a decent amount of time.
Oh,
they did. Yeah. So she was probably very relieved at that point that she didn't try.
Right.
And Xander had his game face on, but he was starting to shake, and it could have gone either way. I thought in the end.
Oh yeah, no. At the end, it definitely looked like they were both hurting pretty bad, and finally Deshaun. And I was like, man, please let Deshaun fall. Please let Deshaun. I was like, I'm like screaming out loud at my TV. Come on, Xander, hang in there, man, hang in there.
Well, what's funny is when they fall off. So Deshaun falls and Xander wins, and then so Xander's won. He has to get off, but he can't. He's trying to figure out how to get off because his shoulders are locked, and and he looks so incredibly awkward coming down, and then Deshaun was kind of the same way, and then they went to hug each other, and they're like, I can't figure out how to get my arms around you. It's very awkward.
Yeah, Xander made like a weird face as he got off too. It was pretty interesting.
So now we got Erica and Xander both having immunity, right? And then of course Xander's team gets to go back and get some good delicious delicious beef and chicken stew.
And I was glad to see those two win. So,
so was I. For me, that was like perfect. I was like, those are the two I was rooting for, and they both won on each team. So I was like, all right, awesome.
And then they go back to their camp, and Xander's talking with Evie, and like, maybe we got to get out Shan.
No.
Leona.
Is it Leona?
Yeah, Leona.
Yeah.
I see Shan and Leon running around the beach the most.
So then maybe we take out Leon.
Dude, I would be fine taking out Leon.
Yeah.
He's talking to everyone about this, and he thinks he has some takers. But
so he goes and he talks to Deshaun in front of Danny. In front of Danny.
Yeah, in front of Danny.
And Deshaun's like, yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it. And
Danny's
like,
face.
what?
If there's a move that you guys want to make that I could help you with, I'm down to do that.
I'm willing to say right here now, I am voting for Leon.
Let's do it. Done?
Yeah, let's make it tomorrow.
Do it.
No, like that's not the plan. We're the.
I did like how Xander's like, I'm thinking about using my idol, so you guys might not have a choice among yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would have been great. I mean, that's a tough decision to be in because you can say, like, if I use it next week, that buys me another week. If I use it this week, I could be gone next week.
Right.
So that's what's tough about that. Even though it seems like an obvious, you just do that, get rid of one of these three. But
he still has the extra vote too, though. So he could have used his extra vote the next time around to to save himself too. So
maybe
this time the extra vote wouldn't have mattered because just the way the vote went down. But
because it was 5 against 5, so yeah.
Yep. And then the other group. The other part of that team's group wants like Heather and Nasir.
Well, Shan wants Heather.
Shan wants
so let's be real. We should get rid of Heather because that's what Shan wants. Like, but Ricard's like, I think we should go for Nasir.
He's the bigger threat.
He's got. Why do you think Heather's? And she's like, no. Heather's with Erica, and I just don't trust those two. And he's like, she has no power. She's not great at competitions. She has no immunity, like idol. She's got no special powers.
Everyone has this huge target for Heather, and I'm baffled by it. She has no advantages. She has no idol, and yet everyone's focusing their attention on her.
Whereas Nasir has this immunity idol, and he's a bigger threat. Right. He's a bigger threat.
Yeah, I mean...
She's like, no.
Heather thinks she's gone, and then Ricard kind of comes up with this plan to kind of bail her out a little bit. And then he's talking to Shan, and it's not going... It's back and forth, so you don't really know what's going to happen there.
Shan's still trying to push her authority on. And again, Shan, like, her reasoning for the people she wants to get rid of just makes zero sense whatsoever.
So then we're all going to vote who?
Nasir. And then he's gone. Then we're fine.
I want to vote Heather's ass out.
No! Heather makes no sense, Shan. Absolutely not.
It's like, dude, you're talking about people who pretty much suck at the game and have no threat to anybody. So it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then it's kind of funny, the other group, when Xander is talking to Liana, he's talking about the idol, and she's like, well, I'll throw the vote your way. I'd be more comfortable if you gave me your idol.
After she tried stealing it from him.
Like, what?
and I'm sure, like, I watched that, and I was like, man, Shan really started something with this. Here, let me hold on to your idol business. Like, like, that's not how this game is really played. Like
why do I need you to hold on to it?
Right.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
To build that trust.
So if you gave your idol to me, like, that would make me feel more comfortable not to play it, but just to have it, to know that you wouldn't. You would do that.
Well, I mean, not to you.
I don't know who he'd give it to at that point. Like, Evie, I don't think so. So there's really no one for him to trust to give it to.
So here's the problem with that side of it. Now you go to tribal with Xander's team, right? So you have Xander.
Well, first they don't go to tribal. The other one go to tribal first.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead again.
Yeah, jumping ahead. The team goes to tribal first.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Can I not talk about that first?
No, because then we'll have to skip over stuff and we'll be all lost.
That's right. But you can go ahead and start the other tribal. Oops, sorry.
Start the other one.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't.
You start the other one. Go ahead.
Fine. Yeah.
First
somebody
off,
else can start the other one.
It starts off with like an attack.
Yeah.
Beetle like swoops in and goes straight for Tiffany.
Well, the funny thing was the way it happened.
I'm still hopeful there's going to be a miracle and some idol is going to just fall out of the sky. Cue the idol.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That was awesome.
That thing was huge.
She reacted pretty well too, though, because something like that hit me.
Yeah.
I'd have been doing like some
I don't know if that was
a
rhinoceros beetle or what, but it's pretty big.
That was huge.
Normally harmless, but they're freaky looking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a big beetle, man, no doubt.
Yeah, went straight for your girl. How'd you feel about seeing your girl on the bench there?
I was glad.
She was starting to come up though for you.
Not enough. I'm glad she's gone, man.
Wow. All right.
But now the two I want gone are Shannon and Leona, man. Those two got to go, man.
This is kind of an interesting tribal. Not because of really what they say. And Heather, I guess, is playing a little coy, like, I'm going home. But Erica's like, it's me and her. Anyone who wants to work with us, we can. I wouldn't probably say that because that just ties you to another person. Like, see, these two are a team. We got to get rid of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think everyone was playing up the plan of getting rid of Heather. Like, Heather was accepting it. No one wanted to say something that would interrupt the plan of what they had going on.
Right, like even we said, I think Josh mentioned it. Even Nasir was like, "Hey, Mama, sorry, but you're going home." He's like, "I hate to see you go. I love you, but at this point, you got to go."
And they get to the votes, and this is where I'm a little confused because they show afterwards who voted for what, but they vote, and it is a tie between Nasir and Heather.
And there's 5 people voting, so obviously somebody used a special...
And Shan uses her vote, and she votes both ways, and Ricard votes for Heather. So I don't really understand why they did this. The only thing I can think of is there was more conversation that we didn't see. They were worried that someone would play an idol, so they wanted to make it so there's no possibility for either one of them to go home.
Right.
Because if they put all their votes on one person, if something weird happened and someone voted Shan or Ricard, then one of them would be going home.
Right.
So that's the only thing I could think of. But I just think that's kind of like a waste of your power.
It was.
To split it up like that.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that Ricard would vote for Heather.
Yeah, so was that, because he was the one pushing. He was the one pushing vote Nasir.
Yeah,
you know?
so that was a little weird too.
Yeah,
the only thing I think is like
him and Shan had some other conversation.
CYA to go.
Right.
If there's an idol out there and it's played on, one of these two, and we vote wrong, then we're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know.
Yeah, and him and Shan, man, their relationship is just. They've got like that love-hate relationship going. They're together and they're like, hey, we got each other's back, but at the same time, they never agree on anything, right? They're always arguing about crap. So,
well, that's because like Shan has to have her
way. Exactly.
She's going to argue with anybody. I'm going to have to edit that out, but
Josh got to have his way all the time.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to have to edit that out.
He doesn't need to edit that out. It's fine. Everyone knows.
That's right. That's right.
How will they know?
How will they know? Everyone knows. Yeah, we don't agree on anything.
You live around here, you know.
That is you making a decision. That's not how this game is supposed to go. It's not what one person wants.
I don't know if I completely agree with that.
So then they have the other group comes in.
Well, first of all, let's finish this. So, so it's a tie. it's tie between Heather and Nasir. So what happens this time is Jeff's like, all right, we're all going to vote again. You can only vote for these two. Obviously, Heather and Nasir, you can't vote, right? So.
And it's funny because as the votes coming in, Nasir's face.
Nasir's like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, what's going on?
And then it ends up being unanimous Nasir, and he's booted out. And
I guess you can't play your idol the second go around.
No, because he didn't give him the option to. Yeah, so.
Well,
at that point, it had just been Nasir. Like, all right, I'm playing my idol. Bye, Heather.
Yeah.
So Kevin, your boy Nasir, he's out. Unfortunately, he played a pretty good, respectable game.
Yeah.
But he got in with the wrong people.
Now he went out with class, though. He was like,
he
man.
did. He was
laughing.
He's a good guy. So.
Yeah. And then even when he joined Tiffany,
and he gets to be on the jury thing with Tiffany, so he's cool.
Yeah, he was up there smiling the whole time. He's like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah, he gets to be in on it and just sit there and watch all the drama going on. Yeah. So
and the other group comes in and they seal Nasir. He's already on like the jury bench.
And their faces are like
Danny's like, oh man,
what happened here?
Right. Yeah. And that's when it suggests like, what do y'all think? And Danny's like, man, I thought this really changes the game because I thought for sure Nasir was safe. So if not even he's safe, then he's like, who knows what can happen here? So yeah, man.
And this one is, there was like a build up to it, but it's kind of uneventful because
this vote
the power team sticks together.
Yeah.
Like, because going into it, man, you thought, okay, maybe they got Deshaun's vote here. It looks like, man, if Liana can go home, that'd be amazing. Wonderful.
I wasn't really buying that to begin with, unless I thought the only thing that could shake this up if Xander played idol on Evie. And as I was thinking about it, I just don't think that would actually been a smart move for him.
It wouldn't have been a smart move for him.
That would have been a big game move, but
I think it would have been a smart move for Deshaun to go with Xander and Evie.
Oh, absolutely would have been.
But
that's a big move.
See it's a big move.
And Danny's not really on board.
Deshaun,
cannot get Danny on board, and that's his problem. But I don't.
If Danny was on board, it might be okay.
I don't think Deshaun tries to get Danny on board.
No, he doesn't.
They don't show it.
And the thing is, in that little group they have, Deshaun's on the bottom. He's in the bottom of that group.
And he knows that.
And he knows he is. So it's like, dude, go. Then you should have got rid of Liana and just split that group right there, and you wouldn't have to worry no more.
He should play that up to Danny because Danny's the second to the bottom.
Right.
Well, I think Danny would have his back, but the problem is they're not strong personalities over Shan.
No.
Well, and that's the problem. They're letting
Shan will just
run that group.
fight.
Well, Deshaun tries to be, but then he gives in anyway. So it's like, dude, and that kind of irritates me too. It's like, dude, stop complaining if you're just going to give in to Shan anyway. Shan, you can't tell me what to do. Okay, I'm going to vote what Shan wants. It's like, come on, dude. It's like,
Sometimes it's easier. Just saying.
So they have their vote, and Evie is
poor Evie gets voted out. And I liked Xander's comment though right before. because Jeff's like, so you guys think you know this way it's going to go? And Xander's like, I do. He's like, but if it doesn't go that way, then I know who the liars are.
Yeah, I know who that's true. You do learn something from this.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
People, and they'll reassure you. And he probably figured that, but...
So at this point in time, like, he knows he can't trust Deshaun. So Deshaun has now burned that bridge for him to jump from whatever group he's with. So Deshaun's really burying himself within this group because he's in that group. He's showed that he's not super happy within it, but even though he's voting along with them, and he's the bottom. So when it comes down to if they survive, he's going to be the first person
Deshaun's
to go.
an idiot. And at this
here's
point,
the thing. Even if he jumps ship, he's going to be at the bottom of the other group the way he's playing this group. I mean, I'm sure they would take his vote, but they're going to be like, you're on the bottom.
No, he right there, he could have got super tight with Xander right there. Had he gone with Xander and built that relationship, he could have gotten really tight with Xander.
Yeah, that's one other person.
But then Evie and Xander are super tight, and Deshaun and Evie made their, hey, man, we're cool, we're not going to vote for each other during this episode as well. So there have been Deshaun, Evie, and Xander all have been super tight. That's 3 people right there.
And Evie and Deshaun had
the problem is I don't know if you can trust Evie either. She's already flip-flopped on people.
I think at this point you can. I think at this point Xander can trust Evie, and I think Deshaun can. If they'd have gone to the 3 together, I think they'd have been able to trust each other. But Deshaun screwed himself. At this point, I want to see him gone now too, just because he's an idiot.
It's easy to trust people when you're on the bottom, right? Yeah. But that's what makes Shan and Ricard so tight, you know what I mean? Because they have each other's back even though they're not really at risk.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to see Deshaun gone now, only because he keeps playing up like he's the guy that can go against Shan and this and that, but then he never does.
Would you rather see Shan gone or Deshaun?
Oh, I'd rather see Shan gone, but at the same time, I'm done with Deshaun. I'm done with his.
What if you saw Deshaun manipulate the vote to get Shan to go?
Then he'd be able to bag brownie points with me.
Okay.
Well,
but right now,
because the preview for next week shows like Shan and Deshaun
going at it. Yeah. But we saw that this week too, and then you saw what happened. So it's like, you know,
that's true.
Ricard's starting to be anti-Deshaun.
And here's the thing: you can be pissed at someone, but at the end of the day, you know it's a game, and you go, "This is my best chances to stay in," and that's what's essentially keeping them together. And that's why Deshaun apologized the next day, because he's running these scenarios in his mind, and it's best to stick with them. Because even if he does go to Xander, that's one person.
And Evie.
Verse 3. No, I wouldn't say Evie's a part of that.
Dude, Evie's
She's already tried to get out Xander hardcore, and now
early
she's
on.
Here's the deal.
Early
if
on.
they put the weak people,
Early
you
on.
talk about Xander going, like, rallying the outsiders. You're talking about Evie, Heather, Erica.
Mm-hmm.
You have votes. You have, however... You've split them this week, and you don't see that coming. That would have
and the thing is, Deshaun is also a strong player. So if you get Deshaun and Xander together with the rest of the folks, that's a pretty good team.
The problem is you have to question everyone's loyalty, because Erica and all of them haven't shown loyalty to anyone. So how can you work with them too close when they haven't shown you any loyalty?
Well, now you have Erica and Heather who have declared they are together. They are a duo.
Right.
They've got each other's back.
Yeah, they seem tight.
Yeah.
And you have poor Xander out there all by himself.
And I don't understand why Xander's not part of
I don't think Xander's by himself anymore. I think Evie's all in with Xander, and I think
Evie's gone.
Well, she was until now, yeah. And I think had they stuck together and had they talked with Heather and Erica, and they could have had a good tight knit group right, but they never took that opportunity. They let all these other people go over there and have their little group. All the black folk got their little group going on, and all the outsiders just stayed outsiders instead of getting together.
Well, we saw this in Big Brother too.
Right.
I don't think,
same thing. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the rest of the people are seeing it that way. They're not seeing that the black people have formed.
That's because they're all
here's the thing. Big Brother did it much better because they were under the radar. This team is not under the radar. They're going off 10 feet from you and talking about who they're going to get.
And they can't look and say, hey, they're all black. It's like you're looking at it all over there together. Say, sure you can see
it. It doesn't even matter if they're black or not. Those 4 people are tight, and they're dictating who goes home next. And you have more people over here that aren't grouped up.
You do have Deshaun throwing shade at that, because you never really know where Deshaun lies, because he claims he doesn't like.
He votes the
way
the group
he claims he doesn't like this group, so you can't say, well, there's not all. Because you're like, there's not all black alliance, because he doesn't like Shan, so he wouldn't be in alliance with her.
But he's already proven that wrong several times now. At this point, he's already shown that I'm going to vote the way Shan wants me to vote, and that's it. So.
They're not seeing it as all the black people together. I think it's seen I feel like if I was in that game, I would feel Deshaun and Danny as a duo. And
no, man, because you're seeing them all go together as a group and chat.
But duo versus
Shan's like,
duo,
hey, let's go, and she gets all her group of little black folk, and they go over there and chat.
Well, Ricard's part of that group, and if I'm Ricard, I'm a little worried too, because they even said let's all four go talk about it.
Exactly.
And then Ricard's like, I'm part of this group too, right?
He's like the Derek X, man, from Big Brother, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
And
man.
on the preview next week, Ricard's name's kind of thrown out there too. So that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But like I said, Danny lost a lot of points on me, man. Danny showed himself being a little...
Danny or Deshaun?
I mean, Deshaun. Sorry, Danny. Deshaun showed himself being a little...
Cowboys for life!
Yeah. Deshaun showed himself being a little B here. Like, he's not what he talks himself up to be. He's still going to vote for Shan no matter what he says, you know, no matter how much he says he hates her. So it's like, you know what, Deshaun, you can just...
I hope this show isn't trying to do like a rope-a-dope and like we're constantly teasing these things we know you want to see, but this group just stays together.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't boil down to these four, but it's kind of hard for these guys to work together the way the game's being played, especially with these two groups.
I wouldn't mind rooting for the four or rooting for just like I did. I rooted for them in Big Brother. Like I don't mind rooting for that. I
don't like Shan.
I have a problem with Shan. I have a problem with Shan dictating how that goes. It's kind of like you had a problem with Tiffany in Big Brother because she kind of like ran the show.
Same thing here with Shan.
Shan's a little more in your face about it.
Tiffany was in the face too, man.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, she was.
She's got to be a little bit more subliminal about it, and she can't even help herself, even when people are pointing it out. Like the next conversation.
Well, and I just love the conversations that, like, when Ricard came to her very calmly, and he's like, I know you want to vote on Heather, but she doesn't seem to be a threat. I want to go with Nasir. But I think Heather, we're not going with Nasir. Like, no.
You got to put it in her head that
Heather is a threat. Heather is a threat. It's like, no, Heather's not a threat.
I think that's the approach you got to do. You got to make it seem like she wants to vote.
But hey, Shan,
she did vote out Nasir.
Remember last week, Shan, when you were talking about Nasir? Like, let's do that. You know, something like that.
Yeah. You're smart. We need to stick with your plan. Your gut feeling.
I like your idea from last week, right? Yeah.
I mean, think about it though. Like, Ricard did get his way. She did ultimately get out Nasir, not Heather.
And she used her power on it. So
she lost.
So that's why Ricard, I mean, and her and Ricard might be tighter than anybody else, which is kind of good, I guess.
All right, any last thoughts here, guys?
Any change of heart, who you want to see win or anything? I think we're all still Team Xander. How can you not be at this point? You guys just,
Team Xander.
You know, a good guy and plays the game well.
And get rid of, man, I was so mad Leona didn't go, but whatever, man. Hopefully she'll go soon. And get rid of Shan. I think if you get rid of Shan, man, it really
would change things.
It would change things up big time. I think if Shan's gone, things would change up big time, and we'd start seeing different alliances.
I don't think Leona would know what to do without Shan.
Oh no, she wouldn't.
I didn't like Leona hating on Xander open during that competition. Yeah. She was just looking at him with disgust.
I hate his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's my boy right there.
They're not going to be friends after this.
No.
Probably not.
All right. Well, another episode down. This was actually, it was probably one of my favorite episodes to watch. You know, like I said, I wish Leona would have been gone.
Did you guys like the two groups split up? Did you think that's good?
That was cool, man. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I like how they did it.
Well, it's the way they got two people out in 1 week.
Well, that's hard to, like, strategize with that coming.
Because you only had 4 people to choose from.
And you don't know who's on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Another episode of Survivor Down. We're looking forward about talking about the next one next week. Hey, we're at 100 subscribers now. We'd love to get more. Hit like and subscribe. And if you want to be part of the tribe, just as soon as you subscribe, guess what? We're going to say your name too, just like we did 2 people today. So enjoy having you guys watch us, and we'll check you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, dude, it's fucking hot, man. You didn't turn this damn thing off. I'm sweating my ass off.
Wait, did you just say Billy was right about something?
Yeah, he was right about it. He did not do that. I don't know why he said it, though. I feel like I had less room. See, we should have filmed it yesterday. I had more room.
You had more room yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Time-space continuum is like shrinking our
I had more room yesterday.
I thought your hat was going to be on backwards today.
No, the people didn't want it. I asked, and they said no.
I don't like it all.
I feel squished. Look at me. I'm like against this wall.
There's no wall there.
I'm against the wall.
There's no wall.
What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the Geek Dump.
I haven't had enough to drink yet.
Yeah.
Hot. It's not hot.
It's not hot.
Yeah, it's definitely. She's wearing a sweater.
I'm wearing a sweater and I'm not hot. It's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good.
I don't have fear. It's hot. Right,
I'll just sit here looking weird.
Send us an immunity necklace, CBS.
All right.
Yeah.
We need it.
All right, we got to like pause, not talk, because we got to get the music.
Special drinks.
That's a turn on to Billy. Billy's like,
yeah, ain't nothing turn on about that.
That's gross. Is it? Well, what you just did was gross.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. It was disgusting, dude.
Well, that's how it is on Tribe Life.